Not sure what I'm going to title this video yet, but it's going to have something to do with the intelligence of the average voter in the United States. A lot of people don't realize, or maybe my audience does realize it though, that our form of government in the United States is not a democracy. It's actually a constitutional republic. Yes, we do have democratically elected leaders in certain situations, especially like the House of Representatives. And in our Constitution, actually, it says that there should be not more than 30,000 constituents for each representative. We're like 20 something times that right now for just the House of Representatives in the body of Congress. So each representative, each congressman really can't adequately represent their constituents because they're on average they're well over 20 times what is even the maximum level of 30,000 to 1 that is mandated in our Constitution. It's amazing how many things are ignored in our Constitution, things you probably don't even know. Now this goes back to Aristotle, 350 BC, and say, what does he know? Well, he didn't know a lot about government. Okay, democracy is when the indigent and not the men of property are the rulers. Basically, the indigent could be there in that situation due to unfortunate circumstances, but it's usually the more intelligent and more industrious a person is, the more they accrue. So usually you want those type of people as your leaders. Hopefully that they're doing the right moral thing. And actually, nothing works right if morals are lacking. Okay, if you don't have a code of honor, integrity, you know, doing the right thing, I guess if you want to call that, nothing works anyway. So I mean, you could be the most intelligent person in the world, and you could have a group of intelligent people running something. If they're rotten people to the core on the inside, and they don't go by any code of honor, the men of property situation where they run the government, that's no good either. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter, Winston Churchill. Yeah, that's true. And you've seen a lot of these things on YouTube. I know they're being demonetized now, left and right, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. I don't even know if this video might. I don't even know. I don't even know what the heck's permitted anymore, for crying out loud. But I was looking at these popular petitions, the two most popular petitions, and I want to just. Now, first off, yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm going to tell you this. I was lukewarm on Trump and flip-flopping on Trump since day one. It's really, I knew about the Clintons since the early 90s, before Bill Clinton was elected. I knew all the dirt on those people. Hillary, I saw her as like evil as all hell. No way in hell I would take care of her. But, actually when you look at all these, even Ronnie Reagan, the big hero of the conservatives, it was more in his speeches than the reality. And I know, like, I think Trump is pretty legit, but, him telling, us thinking, people thinking they just send some guy over to Washington, D.C. and fix everything, God, it's crazy. I mean, it's like a frog landing on a little lily pad in a swamp, and all of a sudden the creature from the Black Lagoon comes up and said, "Hey, little frog, you're in my territory now," and that's probably what happened with Trump, military-industrial complex. Now, I want to address a couple of these petitions in here. Maybe that's how I'll title this video: "Stupid Voters and Popular Petitions," in quotes. Immediately release Donald Trump's full tax returns with all information needed to verify emoluments and cause compliance. Now, it's got over 1.1 million signatures. Now, what people don't realize is that when you got businesses that are as large as what Trump runs, like in each one of his casinos and his large hotels, there'll be like not an IRS agent sitting there 24 hours, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but they'll have actually like an office space dedicated to them with their own desk, and they'll go in there at least a few times a week in each one of these casinos to make sure everything's in compliance. There'll be a controller with accounting managers, staff accountants, and all that, making sure everything's in compliance. It's not like, and if you got a problem with something, it's the way the law is, okay? Um, Donald Trump's, his tax returns. First off, it's his private information, but they are examined far more than the average person by gazillion times. And it's actually, when I looked at this petition, I looked at it as a petition of spite, because if a petition was going to be put out there targeting wealthy people in general, that might be, you know, then you're following a principle. But it was more like, I hate Donald Trump. So in other words, they put this, these people hate Donald Trump, so they signed this petition. That's what went on. But they don't even know. They don't even realize. It's so. They don't even realize that the IRS is looking at his stuff all the time. You think he makes this return that nobody looks at, and it's just this one big return? No, it's a complicated labyrinth of all kinds of reporting requirements going on in all the facilities and casinos and golf courses and hotels that he runs. And each one of these large enterprises he has office space dedicated to an IRS agent that goes in there probably 3 to 5 times a week. And I mean, they don't sit there all day, 8 hours a day, but they'll be in there. They'll be visiting, and they'll be talking either to the controller that's running the place or one of the accounting managers, and everything's in compliance. So if he's making money and there's a loophole, quote unquote, it's because it's the law. And actually, it's the job of the controller or the accounting managers to maximize the profit of their client, their boss, whatever. And that's how it works. But if this petition was to be releasing all the tax return information for people that have a net worth of over $2 billion across the board. I mean, I think that's not right to do that either. But and I'm not that I'm a fan of billionaires, but you gotta like protect the individual sanctity of people's rights and assets. But if the petition was like across the board, for like the Rockefellers, the Bloombergs, even the high-end politicians like Pelosi probably got a lot of money. I don't even know what she's got. But if they did it like that, I wouldn't think this petition was such a bad petition. But it's a very mean-spirited petition, to say the least, because there's people out there that I consider, I don't know. And people are, well, here's another one. Divest and put in a blind trust all the president's businesses and financial assets. Are you kidding me? And you got like 350,000 people sign this thing. And it goes right back to the dumb voters. Who the hell are these people that tell somebody that accumulated this wealth and goes back in their family? Like, what about Rockefeller and Standard Oil, for crying out loud? We demand it. I mean, this is like Marxism to the max. We the put it in a blind trust, and then who runs the blind trust? It's like you think charitable, something's labeled charitable on the outside, or it's a blind trust or whatever. It's all on the up and up. Oh God, a lot of things are hidden with the labels. So. But it's like these are people that just hate somebody. They just hate this guy. They did this petition out of just to be mean. It's not like put everybody's assets, and I would disagree with this too, but if they said put everybody's half, or say 25% of people's wealth that have a net worth of over $2 billion into a blind trust, if they said it across the board. But now it's like, we hate Donald Trump, so let's do this petition. And I'm like, these people don't even understand how things work. I mean, the releasing the full tax returns, the IRS is looking at this guy every day, and every one of his enterprises all the time. I mean, 3 or 4 times, 5 times a week, in each one of his enterprises located throughout the country, whether it's casino, hotel, I don't know, golf course or whatever, anything of significant size. They got an agent assigned to him, and he's got people. And you think he's doing the accounting himself? No, are you kidding me? No, he isn't. He isn't doing any of the accounting, for crying out loud. He's like, maybe I think this is a good land to purchase, and maybe a good place that we're and somebody will do feasibility studies, how much the land's going to cost to develop, what kind of golf golfers traffic we're going to get in here to support it, and what the return on investment is, and he'll do a pro forma and see what the heck how it's going to extrapolate, and what the repayment of loans is going to be for on that schedule, and all that type of stuff. I mean, he's like the visionary. He's not even getting involved in the details. So it's like ridiculous. And the IRS is they look at this guy left and right. I mean, they look at all these guys that are big, all of them. Really, they're right on this. So, it's ludicrous. Now, I don't want to mention, because I'm getting kind of, lately, lately they've been manually reviewing my videos, and have been fixing this little icon. I'm getting aggravated at this icon, because I don't even know what the heck I'm supposed to allow to put up here anymore. And well, I can almost look at this video and I say, I don't know what kind of advertisers would be on this video. So maybe there's truth to this, because it's an opinion video and an informative video. It's actually an informative video. It's not even an opinion video. It's an informative video. So I'm not sure, if you're like putting out, I'm showing somebody how to do camp equipment for camping. Yeah, and then you see what advertisers. So maybe there's some truth to this. But I also suspect that, and I'm going to mention this here because, YouTube will probably be reviewing this video, and I'm going to just say this. I'm already onto this garbage. During the last election, and it's like a lot of stuff. There's every time the big guys are playing a scam, or they throw all their money on somebody they think they got their strings attached to. The people through independent media are short-circuiting the big money's plans, and these things are like representative of the big money media, who are basically are in cahoots with the other big money, right? Which works with politics. So on YouTube, there was so much independent voice out there, and I hope YouTube doesn't go succumb to this garbage. I know YouTube got bought up by Google and CIAs and Google and all this garbage, but you got revolutionaries in YouTube too. So I don't know. Hope you guys don't freaking succumb to this garbage, because I'm getting pissed off sometimes. When they put that little yellow icon next to a cat video, and I'm like, a cat video? I put the one, and they finally approved it. I was like, but I knew this hit video. I was just kind of showing people, hey, we got new cat shelves out here for the little meow meows. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to make money on the video, really. I mean, I don't think it's going to get a lot of hits. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I really never know what the hell's going to get a lot of hits. But I was like, why the hell they put that little yellow icon in there? I'm like, what's going on here? I mean, I don't even know what their algorithms are. But I do notice that if you look at all the major media out there on YouTube, and for you people that don't run ad block, because I don't run ad block, because I run an ad block on one computer, which I answer the comments on, because I don't want my ad running on my own video. But when I watch videos, I don't run ad block, because I realize these content creators are doing this stuff. But I noticed that on the major media people that have put out the news, and they'll put out all kinds of controversial news, like, oh, Melanie Trump wore high heels to Houston to visit the flood victims. Like, yeah, that's important news. They will not, they run the ads on it. There's no problem. So I really see that, this new campaign is really coming from these guys, and the guys that are behind, not just these guys, but a bunch. Russia Today too. Russia Today is the major media. A little different twist, but they're still a major media. A bunch of control freaks. So they're trying to put the squeeze on everybody that's an independent producer, so they don't tell the truth, and because that's really what shot down Jeb Bush. Got over $100 million in campaign money. Goodbye. And Hillary, the Clinton's foundation, I don't know, like $1 billion or something. Ridiculous. And where'd that money go? I don't know. We spent it on I don't know, vacations or something. Makeup for Hillary. I don't know what they did. But yeah, these guys, I don't listen to all this crap here. I mean, I do sometimes, but usually it's like, yeah, YouTube's now a major media. You're in there too. YouTube is major media. YouTube is a giant, man. It wasn't before. But, basically it's like, Well, what's probably going to happen too, just as in a Blake angle, I don't know, there might go on to some other venues. I might put a video out on this separately. I was looking at this D-Tube, but it's like you can't search anything. I don't know, it's so young. I mean, that's another thing. You can't search anything on there very well. It's like it comes back with 10 results max. Um, it's like hard to find anything on there. There's not much on there anyway. It's like infinitesimally small, and I don't even know how to. I don't. It's probably good for like unfiltered news. I might be putting some videos on there. Depends on what happens on here. But by and large, I'm probably not in the major radar on YouTube because most of my videos are how-to videos, car videos, motorcycle videos. I don't know how to build something, MacGyver stuff. It's like I don't really. I mean, I got political stuff out there or opinion stuff, but and even then, when I don't even go delve down too far down the rabbit trail. But I also want to say this, democracy. Here's another word for democracy. We're not a democracy. Two wolves and a sheep voting for what's for dinner. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. And, that's another thing where the big money doesn't want people to have guns, because they want to own us, right? So, but I was looking at this thing here and I was like saying, man, these petitions, man. I mean, yeah, I guess you got to write the petition, but, I looked at this and I said to myself, these are people that were, in other words, if this petition said immediately release Donald Trump's and Bill and Hillary's full tax returns, I'd sign it too. Because I think, if you're going to play the game, let's do it with all of them, But no, 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 no. And throwing in Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz or whatever the heck else out there, right? Throw them all in there. But no, no, no. Only this guy. So you know what the deal is with this stuff. It's like, how about put into a blind trust all the people on the top with the big money? I mean, I guess I disagree with that because I don't know. I'm not a fan of people with big money, but I think a lot of they basically are. And I always did recognize this. I mean, I don't want to be too critical of Trump because, I mean, I think Hillary's the wicked witch of the West. She really is a practicing witch. She used to go to covens in Los Angeles and fly out there from Arkansas, not on a broom in a plane, but she really she went to witch covens. She really was a witch, and I didn't want her to win. No way. And she's nasty. Oh, God. Crazy lady, man. But I was never like this Trump tard where I believe Trump. Oh, Trump is going to save us, and he says that he's going to drain the swamp and blah, 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 and make America great again. I think we're already, the stock markets are already hit their high. They're going to come down during the time Trump's in office. The commodity price is going to go back up. And then his campaign promise is going to look really bad. And, but they're doing, even though Trump isn't perfect, the bad guys hate him. They can't stand him. And I could say, I could even talk. I don't want to go too long. I already probably went too long in this video, but I could talk even a lot about Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, he knew the game. He knew the game, but he played along with it too. He said, "What are you going to do about it?" And in a lot of ways, I actually look at it like that with Bill Clinton. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Bill Clinton per se, exactly. But boy, he's 1,000 times better than his wife. She's the worst one going. But even like Winston Churchill, he had another phrase out there. The regular average person trips and stumbles upon the truth once or twice in their entire life. And what happens? They get up, quickly dust themselves off, and run in the other direction. They're too busy to see what's really the real deal, So sometimes you gotta stop a little bit when you're in a forest to see the detail of the trees and what's going on, So sometimes the answers are simple, very simple. And actually, if you're looking at what's problem with, the nation, we got in one little phrase, we have excess government. We have too many people that are trying to do everything for everybody. Like, in other words, And that's another thing I got aggravated on, because when you elect a president to fix the economy, do you realize that, I know somebody's going to argue me about this, but basically fascism is when you have a nationalistic leader running a country that runs the economy in detail, and the government runs the economy. Do you realize that whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, when you're saying I want this president to fix the economy, if you're saying I want the president to deregulate all the dumb rules and let the economy fix itself, that's another story. But if you're telling the president you want him to fix this and do that and provide for this and provide for that, basically you're voting for fascism. Don't you realize that? But people don't realize it because the word isn't actually thrown out there, but that's basically the definition of the word. As a matter of fact, we were so much a constitutional republic before that we did not have direct election of senators in the Congress. The senators were appointed by the legislatures of the states, to each individual states, which gave more impetus to states' rights. That's actually how it was all the way up to, I think it was 1913, when the 17th Amendment was passed. And I know why they passed the 17th Amendment, because the states were delaying a long time to appointing senators, and sometimes the senators were absent for like a year or 2 years from the entire body of Congress, and then they finally passed this where there's popular direct election of senators. But largely where that problem came about was that after the war between the states, was that the federal government mandated to the states how the appointment of senators would be done at the state level. That's what caused a lot more delays of getting a senator sent from a state to Washington, D.C. So pretty much every problem we have in this nation, I'm not saying we'd go to utopia, but the government doesn't create wealth, the people create wealth. That's just how it is, right? It's just like the Federal Reserve doesn't create wealth, they print money, right? Same deal. It's like, if you create wealth, it's like hard work, dedication to duty, doing honest work and putting in that hidden quality, because basically then the returns come to you later on when people realize, hey, this person or this entity does a good job and I'm going to go back to them, and you got this goodwill with the public, and then your product sells better. That's what does it. You just don't create wealth out of thin air by printing money or issuing a decree from some yo-yo in Washington, D.C. that I'm going to do this. So, everybody likes to think that, but that's not how it works, okay? So, I don't know what the hell I'm going to title this video, but maybe something about uninformed voters and popular petitions, quote unquote, because that's basically it. But I kind of did tell you a lot in here, and I can already tell you that this video is probably going to go for a manual review. I'm getting tired of this crap, man. I mean, I don't know what the heck. I don't even know what you guys are doing anymore on YouTube. What are you picking up? I said the word Hillary or Trump or something. It's the computers picked that up. What the heck? But I'm telling you right now, all these big guys, they're okay, no problem, and that includes Russia Today. And don't go think Russia Today is some kind of. I mean, they give you a little different slant on things, but they're a bunch of central control freaks too. I'm not a fan of Russia Today. Anyway, we don't live in democracy. We live in a constitutional republic of laws that are supposed to be, executed and created by just, forthright, moral people. So, yeah, right. Anyway, well, that's like they said when they first created this government, the constitutional republic. It says, yeah, if you can keep it. I don't know where the hell we're going right now. Yeah, actually, I just got to mention this at the end. Like Hillary, in her book, It Takes the Village, she said, direct quote, she said that the government should raise the children, and that the parents should take a backseat role, a secondary role. That was Hillary Clinton. Which amazes me that a lot of women voted for Hillary under that garbage. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. The government raised the kids, man. What are you going to do here? That was like what Hitler did, wasn't it? He raised the kids. Who the hell's voting for this stuff, man? I mean, I don't believe this crap. I don't believe this stuff. You know, I mean, yeah, I vote Republican, but I'm sure as hell, I mean, I hate Prescott Bush. I wouldn't vote for Jeb Bush for nothing, okay? But some people say Republicans are Nazis or something. No, no way, man. No way in hell. But I'm really against the establishment Republicans to the max. I don't know where the hell I fit in, to tell you the truth. I would have voted for Jim Webb if he ran on a Democratic ticket. Jim Webb, the former Vietnam vet, highly decorated with Silver Star, former also senator from Virginia, and Harvard fellow, and he was also the Secretary of Navy back in the 90s or early 90s or something. He would have been good. But Saturday Night Live made fun of him a lot, and then people started backing away from him. So, how that goes, right? There you go. There's the major media. How come they didn't pull the advertising from Saturday Night Live when they were making fun of Jim Webb? Right? Oh, that's fun. We could do that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, that guy, I would have voted Democrat, no problem. If Jim Webb was on a ticket, I would have voted for Jim Webb over Trump any day, anyway, any day of the week. Because I know. Well, I don't want to be too critical of Trump. I know, and I know that he can't make too many enemies. I think they already own him, and he knows it. He can't make too many enemies. Yeah, he can't. I don't know what's going to happen. To tell you the truth, I don't know. No idea, man. I think we're coming into not a very good time, to tell you the truth. But you know what? Just gonna leave you with this note. Because if it gets down to doom and gloom, what always creates the wealth of the nation? People. It's called the old work ethic, dedication to duty, honest, hard work, cooperation with each other. You could take the worst inner city in the United States, and if everybody cooperated with each other and everybody got out there and did something, even for an hour a day, it would change in a matter of hours. How's that? You know what I mean? It would. It would. But, it's not how it is, right? The people fix their own problems, not the government. Anyway, over now.